So the crowd here at Castle Combe looking as though they're settled for the day's racing action. The second of our two Dunlop Sport Max Production Cup races very shortly to get underway. On the pole position is car number 7, the blue Astra VXR, in the hands of the man from Kings Lynn, that being Ryan Bensley. Alongside him is the highly experienced Adrian Churchill, a man who's won championships in Honda CRXs, Rover Turbos and Super Coupes. There's the former Porsche champion, Gary Duckman, in last year's championship winning car, sitting there third on the grid, and Alex Ashby in the Tesco Momentum 99 Racing Astra VXR. He sits there in fourth position. The red lights are about to come on. We're riding on board with the Class B Mini Cooper S in the hands of Andrei Maggi, the Russian driver from Siktivka, who gets a good start. If anything, it was probably almost a little bit too good. He really closed up onto the tail of Craig Curry there as they accelerate round Folly for the first time. Side by side for the lead of the race, it's Ryan Bensley that's going to take the lead of the race from the red Astra VXR of Adrian Churchill, who sits there in second place. We ride on board once more with Andrei Maggi. We've got the BMW diesel of the former mini racer Keith Isaacs directly ahead of us, but it's Bensley that leads. A good start from Alex Ashby. He sits there in second place, ahead of Adrian Churchill in third place. Then the Seat Leon of Gary Duckman, who resides in fourth place at the moment. They all head out of Quarry Corner for the first time. We're riding on board with the second of our two camera cards. This is Piers Ward in the Nissan 370Z, the Top Gear magazine journalist. The Class B battle ahead of him is that of Kevin George, fighting away with the Renault Megane, which has had additional weight put in it this weekend to bring it down from a Class A machine into a Class B machine, because it's power to weight ratio that dictates the classes in the Dunlop Sport Max Production Cup. Through Tower Corner they make their way, and already you can see Ryan Bensley starting to pull away in the lead of the race. Alex Ashby under a whole host of pressure in second position, because he's got Adrian Churchill in that red Astra right behind him, equally as much the Seat Leon of the former Porsche racer Gary Duckman sitting there in third place. We're side by side for second and third as well. Ashby has the inside line when they get towards Camp Corner. Adrian Churchill's going to have to go the long way round if he wants to make it stick. They're still side by side round through the corner. Neither wants to lift off, and if they're not careful, Gary Duckman might squeeze his way through and gain certainly one place, possibly even two. Through Folly, up Avon Rise they go. This squabbling behind is allowing Ryan Bensley, race leader, to pull away all of the time. Churchill trying to steal second place away from Alex Ashby, who is intent on defending it as they hit the brakes and turn through the right-hander at Quarry Corner. And Astra 1, 2, 3. And now Churchill seems to have the overlap as they head down the farm straight and up towards the S's. Adrian Churchill, the 44-year-old from Buckingham, goes through and claims second position. Down to third goes the 21-year-old from Kidderminster, former kart racer. We've also seen him out in the Fun Cup previously, that being Alex Ashby in the Tesco Momentum 99 racing machine. Well, from having lost one place, he's now got to defend again, because Gary Duckman is not that far away. Bensley up the road, of course, and leading the race. Good battle, however, for third, fourth and fifth place, because the Waste Direct from Grantham, the Nissan 370Z in the hands of Craig Curry. We've seen him out in the Radical races throughout this weekend. He's now at the wheel of the Nissan in the Dunlop Sport Max Production Cup. A very busy weekend from him. We ride on board with Andrei Maggi at the wheel of the Low and Prepared Mini. Runs a little bit wide heading in towards Bobby's Corner, and if anything, that's lost ground relative to the Corsa VXR of Kevin George ahead. Here's that fight for third and fourth place. Alex Ashby still fending off the attentions of Gary Duckman, who equally as much is having to watch his mirrors. He's got Craig Curry very close to him as well. Craig Curry, the former motorcycle racer. The three of them almost as one through Folly, up Avon Rise now. The Nissan very quick in a straight line. Perhaps not quite as good around the corners. Rear-wheel drive car, of course. The 306 brake horsepower, 6-cylinder machine in standard road trim. And he's managed to squeeze his way through, gained a place on Gary Duckman. He's now trying to gain another position into the pits. Dan Malone, bonnet askew on that car. I suspect they'll tighten it down and he'll head back out into the race. It will drop him well down through the order. Well, this trio of cars still fighting over third, fourth and fifth position, and Gary Duckman trying very hard indeed in fifth place, trying to get back ahead of the Nissan of Craig Curry. So they continue around the circuit. Fight for third, fourth and fifth still continues with Alex Ashby in the Tesco Momentum car, still sitting there in third, despite the attentions of Craig Curry, who's trying to get up the inside. There's contact between the two of them, all over the grass. Through Bobby's goes Alex Ashby. He's followed all over the grass as well by Gary Duckman. They remain in exactly the same order as they were, but certainly getting very close to each other. Alex Ashby it is that's still at the head of that trio, from Craig Curry in the Nissan 370Z, then Gary Duckman, who sits there in fifth position, round through Camp Corner, another lap having been completed. And for the moment, Craig Curry in that RJN prepared machine, not able to get right up onto the coattails of Alex Ashby ahead of him. Of course, we've still got Ryan Bensley well and truly up through the road. Let's have a quick look at the replay. Coming out of Tower Corner, Craig Currie really gets a good run on Alex Ashby and gets the nose of the car up the inside heading in towards Bobby. Ashby turns in. There's no gap, however, for him to turn into. And all over the grass goes he, as does Gary Duckman behind. And the trio remain in exactly the same order as they head through the completion of yet another lap, through Folly up. Avon Rise once more and onto the brakes in towards Quarry Corner. Alex Ashby still leading the trio from Craig Currie in the Nissan 370Z, then the Seat Leon in the hands of Gary Duckman. That Seat Leon claiming the overall championship honours when it was in the hands of Simon Shaw last season. And nothing to choose between all three of them once more. Here comes the battle lower down through the field, the Class B Corsa VXR, with the second of the Class B cars, Andre Maggi, sitting behind him. Kevin George also has that Nissan in the hands of Piers Ward directly ahead of him, and he's very much trying to squeeze his way through if he can. Here comes the Class A fight once more with Craig Currie, the 32-year-old from Grantham in Lincolnshire, getting very close indeed towards the tail of Alex Ashby. He's already had a couple of goes at trying to squeeze his way through. They're absolutely nose to tail through Bobby's that time. The front-wheel drive, four-cylinder turbocharged Astra just gets the pull out of the corners compared to the rear-wheel drive Nissan. Down the straight and up towards Camp Corner. Another lap about to be completed. They still remain in the same order. Of course, let's not forget that Ryan Bensley still leads the race from Adrian Churchill in second place. This is the fight for third, fourth and fifth position. The Astra ahead of the Nissan and then the Seat Leon of the former Porsche 924 champion, Gary Duckman. On the brakes and up towards Quarry Corner once more. It's on the brakes where Craig Currie in that heavier car seems to have the advantage in these still slightly damp and tricky conditions as they head out of Quarry Corner and up towards the braking area for the S's. Gary Duckman again just showing the nose of that Seat Leon to the Nissan 370Z in the hands of Craig Currie, who leaps over the curves. But for the moment, the battle remains in exactly the same order. Up towards Quarry Corner comes the second of the two Nissans. Kevin George ahead of us as they come out of Quarry. Kevin George gets a little bit sideways. That might just allow Piers Ward to squeeze his way through. There's just the briefest of contact between the two of them. The Nissan goes through and gains the place. He's now hot on the heels of Jordan Witt at the wheel of the former race-winning Renault Megane when it was in the hands of Simon Gustafson a few seasons ago. As they now head through Old Paddock and on towards Hammerdown, with very little to choose between all of them. There's a problem there for Maxx in the EGM prepared machine. The Renault Clio's made contact with the barriers. The car on the circuit currently. Hopefully he'll be able to pull the car off into a safer position. We don't really want the safety car to come out because we've got some great fights going on down through the order, one of which is the one we're involved with now. We're right on board with Andre Maggi, who locks the wheels on the Mini Cooper S, goes straight on at the S's. Here comes Ryan Bensley. You can see the wipers on now. It's starting to get a little bit wetter out there, and Bensley in danger of losing the lead of the race. Adrian Churchill going through and past as they head round through Hammerdown up towards Tower, and Churchill's gone through and taken the lead of the race. Through goes the 44-year-old garage proprietor from Buckingham in the Courtney Sport prepared machine. He claims the race lead for the moment. What can Ryan Bensley do about wrestling it back from his grasp as they exit Bobby's and head up towards Camp Corner for the completion of yet another lap of the 1.85 mile Castle Combe circuit. You can see the rain beginning to come down now. Through the right-hander at Camp they go, with Churchill leading the race, and it looks so the safety car is out. We can see safety car boards out there. The yellow flag's also being waved by the marshals, so just as Adrian Churchill had taken the lead of the race and was hoping to pull away from Ryan Bensley, the safety car has come out, and therefore it will bunch the pack up. There we can see the safety car boards out. We can only imagine as a result of a replay of this incident, Maxx being chased by the car of Keith Isett. Keith Isett manages to get alongside, and I think there's contact between the two of them off into the barriers, and rear end damage for Maxx there. The car coming to rest in the middle of the circuit, and that's what brings about the safety car, which is now about to pull in. We're about to go racing once more in the Dunlop Sport Maxx Production Cup, with Adrian Churchill heading round through Camp Corner now, accelerating towards the start-finish line. Over the start-finish line he goes. Ryan Bensley there in second place with Craig Currie in third place. And then completing the top four, that's where we see Gary Duckman, who is trying to steal the final podium place, if at all he can, from the 32-year-old Waste Director from Grantham. And Astra 1-2 as Bensley's losing yet more places. Perhaps there's a problem for Ryan Bensley. Craig Currie going around the outside at Quarry Corner. That's not a move you'd particularly expect. And I think Bensley in danger of dropping off the podium spots here if he's not very careful, because he's got Craig Currie one side, he's got Gary Duckman the other. All of this is allowing race leader Adrian Churchill, who leads the championship coming into this weekend, to pull yet further away in the lead of the race. Bensley for the moment has hung on to that second position, however, as they head down through Hammerdown. We ride on board with Andre Maggi once more. You can see just how tight the battle is in the midfield, with Andre Maggi having ahead of him the Corsa VXR of Kevin George. Kevin George has got ahead of him the second of the two Nissan 370s in the field, that being Piers Ward, and just ahead of Piers Ward is the Renault Megane Sport in the hands of Jordan Witt. Of course, the Class A cars have between 160 and 210 brake horsepower per tonne. The Class B cars have between 130 and 160 brake horsepower per tonne. There's also success ballast in this championship as well. And maybe that's what's hampering Ryan Bensley, that blue Astra VXR falling away in second place, perhaps as a result of the 45 kilograms of success ballast he's carrying. We're on to the final lap as well, as we ride on board once more with the RJN prepared Nissan in the hands of Piers Ward. Here's his teammate Craig Currie trying to steal second place away from Ryan Bensley once more, heading round through Quarry Corner. Bensley for the moment, the 26-year-old from Kings Lynn, hanging on to the position, but Craig Currie slotted his way through, gained the place. Gary Duckman's followed him through as well. So Churchill leads, Craig Currie second, Gary Duckman third, and all of a sudden, erstwhile race leader Ryan Bensley now down into fourth position. Alex Ashby sitting there in fifth place, and I think it's Jordan Witt that rounds out the top six. He's the car that's directly ahead of us, or was, because through goes Kevin George, very sideways indeed on the exit of the S's as they head now through Old Paddock. Kevin George slithers the Corsa VXR up a place, being re-attacked, however, by Piers Ward. Almost bump drafting the Corsa VXR there was Piers Ward, up towards Tower Corner. We're on the final lap of the race, and heading up towards the final corner comes Adrian Churchill, but who's going to finish in second place? It's very tight indeed. Here comes Churchill. He's going to claim the honours in the second of our two Dunlop Sport Maxx Production Cup races, from Craig Currie, who comes through in second place, and Gary Duckman rounds out the top three. Very close indeed it was right the way through the order. Of course, we've still got the Class B cars to head up towards the final corner as well. There is Jordan Witt. He leads Class B. Diving up the inside goes Piers Ward. There's contact between himself and Kevin George. And on the wet grass, they both thump into the barriers. Piers Ward's car is sitting atop of the tyre wall, but that won't worry Adrian Churchill. He claims yet another victory in the Dunlop Sport Maxx Production Cup. That's his 9th of the season. A rather, well, annoyed Kevin George, and rightly so, clambers out of the car, and such is the frame of Kevin George. He's probably not somebody you want to argue with. Adrian Churchill claims the honours. Craig Currie comes through in second place, with Gary Duckman in third, and Class B goes the way of Jordan Witt. Well, great battling right the way through the field there in the Dunlop Sport Maxx Production Cup. There are our class winners. Let's hear from race winner Adrian Churchill.
Adrian, another win for you, but you had to work for that one.
I did have to work for it, yeah. Ryan's very quick this weekend. I think he's had a bit of help from Paul O'Neill, which you know, went down well. But fair play to him, he's been quick. And in that one, I was hoping for a bit of wet, and it came just right. So
you did actually get the lead though, just prior to the safety car coming out.
Yeah, but you know, it was. I think it was the wet. I think it was, you know, the wet that's perhaps slowed Ryan up a little bit and enabled me to you know, get past him in the end. So.
And then how was the restart for you afterwards?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I sort of judged it, you know, as best I could and tried to get a bit of a gap. And you know, it was a bit slippy on those last two laps, and I just did what I had to do, really.
Let's have a look back at the incident between Piers Ward and Kevin George. Piers Ward in the Class A Nissan, not even registered for the championship, dives up the inside of Kevin George, heading in towards the final corner at Camp. There's contact between the two of them through 180 degrees, and a big thump into the tyre wall from him.
Kevin, not the way you would want your race to come to an end there. Tell us about that major incident for you.
It was not good. We were battling the whole way round Churchill. We had a really, really good race, and then last corner just took a punt, caught the back of me and put us both out. Not great, but these things happen. That's racing. It's just the way it goes sometimes.